Yeah, what's up, everybody? It's Wrestling Uncensored. Tonight on the show, John Cena coming back later this month. We watched Smackdown, Kurt Angle giving another milk bath. We're going to talk about that great MJF and Ricky Starks promo on Dynamite and so much more. Let's get Johnny North in here. Let's start this thing. And as often happens, we're watching AEW Rampage, and John, I turned my head for a second, and Jon Moxley is a bloody mess. I turned back, and he's bleeding profusely.
Well, that was during the break, I think, because he took a kick to the face on the outside. So, yeah, a lot of blood. But this is them trying to get Rampage over now, because I guess the ratings have been low. I don't know if you heard Tony Khan's press call for the pay-per-view tomorrow, but he said he was going to try to get Rampage more exciting. So I guess this is part of it. For some reason, I can't hear you, Dave. Can you hear me?
Hang on. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay, now I can hear you. Okay,
yeah.
Good.
I was talking, and you weren't answering me, and and I was wondering what was going on.
That's nice.
No, I was muted in a way.
Someone heard something.
No, I'm okay. I'm okay. No one. Yeah. We all heard Johnny, and that's most important. Moxley is a bloody mess here, and I wonder if it's like it happens a lot in AEW where a guy will be not bleeding, and then you come back from commercial and he is bleeding, and they come up bleeding, I guess, during the break. Do you think that's a tactic to avoid being caught blading on camera? Like, do you think that may be a trick? Because it's smart, you know?
That's
like
part of it.
If you're going to do a blade job, which is what they do, they cut themselves, right? With a razor blade, usually, on the forehead
or
to create blood. Yeah, or whatever. But if you're going to do that, wouldn't you want to do it with as little visibility as possible, right? I wonder.
Well, you would think on the outside or something, or wherever the blade is hidden, you go to that spot or something like that. And yeah, like I think another thing, it's like when you're at commercial, like usually people aren't paying attention. So it's to make sure like you want to keep paying attention because you're going to miss something. As we just saw, you missed something, like, oh, you missed, he was bleeding afterwards. So, because you come back, oh, there's blood. How'd that happen? So it adds intrigue to it a little bit.
How close do you pay attention to the picture-in-picture when they go to commercial?
It depends on the match. If I really care about the match, like Darby Allin versus Joe, I'm in on that all 100%. But say if it was like, I think Anna Jay against Willow Nightingale last week. Sure. Not so much.
You could just say a match you're less interested in. You didn't have to say exactly who.
Oh, I remember exactly the match I didn't care about. Sorry. Like, I'll tell you exactly.
I'll tell you, I will stay glued to the TV during a picture-in-picture when it's like that small image and there's commercials and you don't hear any audio from the wrestling. Pretty much during a Bryan Danielson match. And that's about it, So we got a lot to talk about here, John. A lot of WWE stuff going on. We're obviously watching AEW Rampage as we speak. We got Takeshita and Jon Moxley. Moxley's bleeding, but we all expect him to win here. Takeshita is a good wrestler. I think he's signed to AEW now.
Yep, he moved to the States because of that, yeah. I guess he has a visa now.
I don't know what AEW plans to do with him. He's clearly got wrestling talent. I don't know if he speaks English at all. They haven't given him any kind of story or gimmick. He has matches with known AEW talent, but he tends to lose them. He has a good showing, but loses. I wonder what the direction is here for Takeshita, because here he is in another match with Moxley where you expect him to lose. I mean, come on. right? He's going to lose
Looks like
this
he's
match.
about to lose right now.
Yeah, he just took the Moxley finish paradigm shift DDT thing. Oh, wait a second. He kicked out, John. He kicked out at 1.
Yeah. Moxley's kind of mad.
Moxley
got
can't
something
believe
going
it.
on here, it looks like.
Yeah, well, that's pretty good. But in the end, you know what's going to happen, right? I mean, come on.
Well, yeah, I mean, Moxley's got 6 different finishers, so he'll come back.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be worried if you're a Moxley fan.
Which makes sense. I mean, Moxley's one of the top guys in the company. He's a former champion. He's probably going to be champion again at some point. But I just wonder what Takeshita's role will be in AEW. Because he's clearly very good in the ring, but there's just a lack of anything else behind it.
Some kind of direction, yeah. That would be nice, some sort of story, but that hasn't really been developed. I think it's just him getting familiar with the talent, and then probably finding a place for him in terms of the storylines. But that's something clearly it's going to happen next year, I think. I don't think we're going to see it anytime soon. No, maybe he'd fit in ROH, possibly.
Yeah, if ROH becomes like a full-time thing. Right now it's just a pay-per-view once in a while. They got a pay-per-view tomorrow night, right? They got their final battle. I guess we can talk about that as well.
I have to say, just based off that last match they announced, that hooked me. I bought the pay-per-view a couple minutes ago because of that match.
Yeah. You did?
I did.
When is it?
Because I want to see that match. It's tomorrow.
Tomorrow, what time, though?
4 p.m.
It's in the afternoon.
Makes sense, because the UFC is on, so you won't miss anything.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm watching the UFC pay-per-view, 4 in the afternoon. I don't think the France game will be over. And I got to watch France
that's true. France is
England's ass tomorrow. Let's go.
I'm sure our buddy Andy thinks differently, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, too bad. Too bad. It's going down
it'll be
tomorrow.
A great game.
Doug Hepburn knows.
We saw some.
Doug Hepburn knows. He says, Dave, I wasn't sure who to root for in Qatar, so I threw some cash on France. Go Team Dave. Yeah! Doug Hepburn. He knows. What's up, Doug? Doug watching. Ryan Katz watching. Lauren watching. Shout out to everybody watching us live, watching us later on as well. Oh, Moxley just won. And here comes Hangman. Here he comes. Hangman Page coming to the ring with a promo.
We actually have something happening on Rampage. It's kind of different. It's a start. You have to give me some idea what he's saying here.
Yeah, I don't know what he's saying.
Okay.
He's talking. He's talking and he's mad. Oh, it doesn't matter. He didn't talk very long. He attacked him. Now he's fighting him. Hangman getting after Moxley had a bloody match. It's not very nice. It's not very gentlemanly of Hangman.
Well, Moxley's supposed to be at the pay-per-view tomorrow, but I guess we'll see what happens here.
I'm seeing some people in the chat, John, that liked the milk bath on SmackDown. And I know you didn't like it, and I didn't really like it either. But people liked Otis's selling of it, which was good. I mean, Otis did sell it well. I see Ryan Katz said it was funny when the milk hit Otis in the stomach. I mean, Otis is a good performer, but so Kurt Angle has a birthday celebration at the end of SmackDown tonight, right? I want to get right into it because we just saw it. It's fresh in my mind. Kurt Angle has this birthday celebration at the end of SmackDown. It's the main event of SmackDown. It's the main event segment. We've been building towards it all night. And Kurt Angle is walking around with not Chad Gable, Gable Steveson, who was the tremendous amateur wrestler. He won an Olympic gold medal for the United States. And the WWE has signed him. And I think they wanted him to show up in a more prominent role a long time ago, but it doesn't seem to be going in that direction. Right? All the reports on Gable Steveson is it's like not happening right now. Right? Not everybody picks it up that fast. Yeah.
That's it.
Maybe he will pick it up. Hopefully he does. because
There's
he's
a better
got the.
coach coming up soon, so maybe that'll help.
You think Kurt Angle's there to coach him?
Oh, I was going to say another coach that just got his lordship actually.
Oh, Regal.
So maybe we can get some pointers from him that would help.
Yeah. I mean, he had one interaction, really. Kurt Angle was basically there with Gable Steveson. Braun Strowman showed up at one point, and Kurt introduced Gable to Braun, and Braun's like, oh, yeah, you're at the PC. That's cool. You should hurry up and come to SmackDown. We could use you here, and now if you want to get these hands, you could. And then Gable's like, when I'm ready, I will come back and do that.
He's coming for you, he said.
Yeah, he's like, I'll call. You'll be the first one I call. But it didn't seem like aggressive. It seemed very friendly, right? But the way
like
Gable, wasn't it a little awkward the way Gable kind of mumbled his line?
It's like how Dominic Mysterio talks, just very robotic, just say the line that you're being told to say. That's it.
Yep. The acting ability was not there at all in that one moment, and that's all they gave him. Did you notice they gave him nothing else? They brought him to the show. They gave him nothing. That, to me, was just the whole Gable Steveson appearance tonight, just sitting there as the guest of Kurt Angle, was a bad sign to me because they used him in a very minimal capacity. He helped Kurt Angle at the end throw milk bottles and milk at the Alpha Academy, who had bullied Kurt Angle out of his own birthday celebration. Kurt's in the ring, and he's all happy, and then Alpha Academy wants him to shoosh, and then wants him to leave, says he's got no more intensity, no more integrity, and he should just leave and get out of here. They bury Kurt Angle, and Kurt seems to agree with them, and then leaves the ring, and then he says, oh, you guys are eating the cake because Chad Gable and Otis are eating Kurt Angle's cake, and he's like, you should have some milk with that. And then the milk truck comes out, and it's this old-timey milk truck, and even Wade Barrett was like, what is this, a 1940s milk truck? It was very strange. I don't know where they got this gimmick milk truck from, but it looked worse than it looked older than the one that they used in the 90s when they did this the first time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
100%. How the hell did they pull that off? It's like super throwback. It's like, no, this is actually from the 1960s.
And it looks small, too.
Yeah, it was tiny. It was a tiny little milk truck. It didn't seem to have any pep behind it. And at first, when Kurt Angle came out and started spraying Stephanie and then whoever with the milk, who did he spray with the milk? Austin.
The whole alliance, actually.
Right. It was an intense moment, right? It was like a thing, and they were spraying the milk, and everybody was, and Angle came out, and he's going nuts, and he's on top of the truck, and he's spraying the milk and going bananas. And it was in response to Austin, who had sprayed the beer, a couple years prior on Vince McMahon, right?
Right. Yeah.
So that made sense at the time. Now they're just kind of redoing it. How did Kurt Angle know, first of all? If you really think about it, Kurt Angle back then knew that Vince and Stephanie and whoever, or Austin, they were going to be in the ring and he was going to come and spray them with milk, right? That makes sense. They were going to be in the ring. How did Kurt Angle know that there were going to be some bad guy wrestlers that were going to come interrupt his birthday celebration and eat his cake to allow him to deliver the clever line that would introduce the milk truck that he and Gable Steveson had rented for the night? How did he know? He couldn't have known.
We did see the segment earlier where the Alpha Academy were trying to get into the Kurt Angle party and they were denied.
Yeah.
So I guess that was foreshadowing that you would know, and I guess Kurt Angle would know because we would know that they were upset about that. So that they were clearly going to confront him at some point about that. So he had to be prepared,
So he didn't invite them to the party on purpose because he knew that they were then going to interrupt his birthday celebration and he could then celebrate further by spraying milk at them because he really likes spraying milk at guys.
Thinking one step ahead all the time. It's the true wrestlers do. Always think one step ahead.
That's what true wrestlers really want. That's the end goal of any true wrestler, to be able to spray milk at men. You really want to just spray that milk.
The first beer milk truck was fantastic, I thought.
What?
The first one when he did it to the Alliance, when he did it to Austin.
Oh yeah,
Stephanie,
it was good. Oh, very good.
That was fantastic.
Yeah, tonight
this
not so
just
good.
This just felt like a lamer version of it. It's like, well, let's just do this because we used to do this, and like at first I was scared because like all they did was throw milk bottles. So I'm like, wait a minute, they're just gonna throw bottles? Like that's super lame compared to what they did before. But thankfully they got the hose out. But the thing is, it's like totally different. It's like you want to see Stephanie get soaked, you want to see Austin get soaked, you want to see the rest of the Alliance get soaked. But like Gable and Otis, like they're jokes. Like just seeing them get soaked is just like bad humor.
Yeah, and that was the end of SmackDown. That's how it ended. It was not very good.
I mean, how else were they going to end the show, to be honest? Like, they didn't have anything else. There was no Roman Reigns tonight. Brock's disappeared. Ronda already wrestled, so they ran out of stars. So they had nothing else, really. That was the best way to send the fans home happy for Pittsburgh. But as a Kurt Angle fan, and I love Kurt Angle. I think he's one of the best wrestlers of all time. That was extremely disappointing.
Yeah, that was a nothing. It was a big nothing. It felt like a tease the whole time. Like they're showing you little clips of Kurt Angle throughout the night. Like he's backstage, he's at his party, he's like talking to people. You see him for like 30 seconds, and then you think, okay, they're going to end the night with some sort of big Kurt Angle promo. And then Kurt Angle comes out. He's interrupted immediately. He's disrespected. He decides that these guys are correct. He walks away, sprays them with milk, with Gable Steveson, and that was it. It was disappointing. I agree. And I'm a gigantic Kurt Angle fan. I think he's one of the greatest wrestlers ever.
To me, what's really disappointing, though, like, you have another star in Ronda Rousey there, right? And Ronda, her debut was with Kurt Angle. They mentioned that on commentary.
Yeah.
But there's zero interaction whatsoever. You can't have them like passing by each other, like Ronda just finished her match, Kurt's about to go out. There couldn't have been something there at all. Like that's what gets people talking, is like when you have stars interact with other stars.
No.
Not like, I'm sorry, but the Alpha Academy, they aren't stars. They're just obviously there to take a beating from Kurt Angle or whatever he does. That's their job pretty much. But people want to see like Ronda interact with Kurt Angle. What's going to happen there? Because obviously they were friends at one point, but now it'd be kind of different. And obviously it would add to Ronda being a heel now, her being a jerk to Kurt.
We saw Kurt Angle interact with Braun Strowman briefly. We saw him interact with, I think, Madcap Moss and Emma and Shinsuke Nakamura were at his birthday party. Jason Jordan, his long-lost son, gave him a birthday card. That was a thing. Briefly, very short. I don't even think there was audio on the segment. Alpha Academy wanted to get into Kurt Angle's birthday party. You saw Kurt and Gable Steveson just sitting on a couch in the background. They weren't really in the segment. They were more background characters for Alpha Academy wanting to get into this birthday party that has a doorman for some reason, even though they're in like a wrestling locker room. And the Street Profits, of course, style. Street Profits are on the list, so they get in, and Alpha Academy's upset to set up the main event stupidity that we had. It's just kind of a waste of Kurt Angle. And all these little segments, you thought, in the end it'll build to something, and it built to nothing. It built to, another milk thing. We've seen this before. We've seen it done better, and this was kind of pointless because, as you say, doing things to Alpha Academy, it's kind of like, well, these are the goofballs of the show. You kind of make fun of them and do things to them and beat them up, and that's what everybody does to them. They're the job guys. They don't matter.
Right. it's like, you spray milk on a clown. I mean, is it really that funny? I mean, mildly at most, like, but if the guy's dressed up in a serious suit or something and it looks like super tough and like intimidating, but then he's all soaking wet, then it's a bit funnier, I find.
What did you like from SmackDown tonight?
Oh, that's tough. SmackDown was rough. Like, to me, this was some of the worst stuff from WWE. It's like, and they exposed the business too with that whole New Day stuff. I hate that stuff when they do that. They just make fun of themselves. Like, man, I despise that stuff when WWE does that.
What do you mean?
When they talked about how oh, what if we challenge you guys to a match? And then Adam Pearce is like, oh, you guys can just do that? And then they're like, oh, don't you watch wrestling? Which is just like, yeah, of course the wrestlers just do whatever the hell they want, like it's all a joke.
And well, yeah, I mean, that is how it works. That is how it works.
We're just admitting that it's just all a joke, on television. That's terrible. I can't stand that stuff.
See,
when they do that.
I don't see it that way. I see it as they're not treating the audience like idiots, and they're saying, look, this is what always happens. Yes, of course, this is what we want to do. They're like, this contract signing is going to devolve into violence. Let's have a wrestling match. And Adam Pearce is like, whoa, that's not necessarily going to happen. And Woods is like, well, don't you watch wrestling? This is how this always happens. And Pearce is like, that's fair. This is kind of how we do things around here. Okay. I don't know. I didn't see that as a big problem, John. I really didn't.
Like, why don't they, honestly, you're going to get pissed when I say this, but they might as well just piss in Adam Pearce's mouth for Pete's sakes. Like, yeah. It's just as bad. Like, there's no point to him whatsoever. Like, what's the point of having an authority figure? Like, he's pointless. There's no point to having him if he's just going to, like, oh, you guys just do whatever you want.
What happened to Triple H being the authority figure? Adam Pearce came back, and all of a sudden he's the authority figure again. I don't know why that's happening. I think
Triple H is only for the big stuff. Like when Brock shows up or Roman. No, you laugh, but it's true though. Adam Pearce does the little stuff. This is little stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just need to ask you a question. Hikaru Shida and the bunny, Ali Bunny, are wrestling for a champ. Just the bunny? They're wrestling for a belt that Shida has. I believe it's a hi-fi belt? What the hell is this belt?
It's from Japan, not mistaken.
Is it?
I believe so.
Okay. I don't know. They said, oh, Shida's belt is on the line. I'm like, what is this belt? I've never seen this belt in my life. I'm supposed to know what this belt is?
Well, not only that.
I'm ignoring it because it's not for me.
The title's on the line, and the winner of this match is going to face Jamie Hayter on Dynamite this Wednesday, I believe.
So Shida versus Hayter on Dynamite? That'll be all right.
More than likely.
I mean, Shida's not going to drop her Japanese one belt to the bunny.
Well, this is also the bunny's first match back in like forever.
3. Shida just won.
Yeah. Well, this is the bunny's first match back. Remember, she was always hurt. They still had this match like weeks ago.
I have no recollection of that because I don't pay attention to what's going on with the bunny and Shida. I mean, the fact that you care enough to remember details like that is astounding to me. Like, I don't. Oh, I was really waiting for the bunny and Shida. I couldn't wait. Oh, here comes Jamie Hayter. So, yeah, you really are in the loop when it comes to this mid-level AEW stuff. Hayter versus Shida on Dynamite. Ooh. Isn't that the Winter is Coming Dynamite? I mean, they've got some bigger matches than that, right? That's MJF and Ricky Starks.
Honestly, I'm more looking forward to this match, to be honest, that they're showcasing right now. It's going to happen tomorrow. That should be pretty good.
Who is this?
Mercedes Martinez against Athena.
Meh. Mid.
I think it should be a pretty good match, actually. I mean, given that they've changed Athena now, she's more of this person that just goes around stiffing people. Like, I think that could be pretty good.
I don't know. I don't know about the drawing power. I'm not drawn. SmackDown
Wow.
tonight. Okay, you didn't like the New Day promo, but what did you think about New Day and Rick O'Shea against Imperium? The match itself. They gave them a lot of time.
They gave him a lot of time. I mean, it was fine. I don't think it needed to be that long.
It was
But it
very
was
long.
fine.
It was a little too long.
Yeah.
Right?
It was a little too long, yeah. We need to talk about that chokeslam, by the way, that we just saw again. My goodness.
Which
Afterwards.
one? That we saw on Dynamite, right?
Yes.
Big Cass?
I believe they're just calling him Big Bill now.
Who did he chokeslam me? Was it
Jungle Boy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember a devastating chokeslam on the apron, right?
That's what it was.
Yeah, it was terrible.
That was nuts.
Is Jungle Boy dead?
I believe he's okay, but like,
that's
wow.
Nice. Yeah, it was bad. It's real bad. Man, I'm trying to find some bright points to SmackDown this week. Usos against Sheamus and Butch to open the show was all right. Usos are always good.
Yeah, but the only problem, though, it's like, the Usos, I don't know what you thought of their Raw match, but I thought that was atrocious, that match. Like, nothing happened in that match.
No,
like,
it wasn't great.
I mean, yeah, like, this match was good because that Raw match was so bad. Like, I don't think it was really hard to, like, overcome how bad that Raw match was. Like, it felt like, they could finally have a match again. Like, I don't know what happened on that Raw thing, but something was off on that one.
Yeah.
Because I guess they're writing Riddle off or something. I guess they decided not to really have a match, just have a beatdown kind of thing, and then a crappy comeback, and then quick finish. This we actually had a lot of back and forth. Like, it felt like Sheamus and Butch like had a lot of good moments in the match. And, obviously the outside interference, but no, it was a good match. But this is the thing about the Usos. People say greatest tag team. It's like, at one moment, like tonight, yes. On Monday, far from it.
Maybe it depends who they're wrestling.
I guess, yeah.
Do you think...
Something was weird about that Raw match. Because, I mean, Riddle and Kevin Owens, you would think that'd be pretty good.
Yeah. Do you think that there are perhaps actual problems with the Usos, Roman Reigns, and Kevin Owens, and they're having trouble working together because of the slap where Kevin Owens apparently, according to, I think Meltzer reported it and other people confirmed it, that Kevin Owens...
last week.
Huh? We talked about it last week, right?
Yeah.
And Roman apparently is still hurt with a busted eardrum because Kevin Owens slapped him, and it was an unplanned slap. And Roman is hurt, and he's the tribal chief. Do you think that, I don't know. Might be that. Maybe Riddle is hurt? Is it possible that Riddle is hurt because he was attacked by Solo Sikoa after the match, and they are writing him off for a time? They're saying he's gone for 6 weeks, which I think coincides with the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I think it's something like that. But I don't know about you. I think it's just, he wanted some time off. I guess they're going to give it to him. That's what it looks like to me, but maybe there's something else going on, but an injury possibly, because that match wasn't much of anything. Like, it's just, they had a bit of offense at the beginning. Riddle took a huge beating, went through a commercial break, still taking a beating, a small little comeback with a little dive thing, and then finish. It was like, that's it? And then beat down. And this went on forever.
Yeah. I was also thoroughly unimpressed with that match, and afterwards was kind of puzzled. Like, why wasn't that good? I don't know. All these guys are good. Why didn't that work? It was weird, All those guys are good wrestlers. I expected it to be good. I start watching it. I'm like, yeah, all right. And I just waited for it to pick up and get into a second gear, and it just never did. And then it just ended. Yeah, it was bad. Yeah, Raw was bad. SmackDown was bad this week. All of WWE was pretty bad. Dynamite was excellent, right?
Well, I think you're starting to see it, and this happens almost yearly with WWE. When they start to get to, like, the December holiday kind of season, Like it usually happens more when they start taping shows. You start to see that dip where it feels like they're either working like 2 shots a night or something, or they're doing like two two shows and like 2 nights or something. And you could see it just feels like they're going through the motions, and there's just more about stories and a lot of weird stuff, and like the Christmas tree or Christmas holiday match, whatever they have, and Santa getting ran over or something. Just a lot of ridiculousness that happens
Yeah.
around this time, and the quality dips with WWE, sadly. And I know it's been dipping for a while with WWE, but now it really dips in December. December can be some of the worst you'll ever see.
Well, when things are bad on a normal basis, and then the quality dips, that's not good, John. That's a real dip. That's hard to watch. And it was hard to watch this week.
Thankfully, they have the Rumble. I mean, that's when things pick up. So, I mean, they have that at least. They start off good in the next year.
I just want this WWE year to end. AEW seems to be running on all cylinders, but yeah, the SmackDown this week was pretty bad. Ronda and Shayna lost to Liv Morgan and Tegan Nox after Raquel Rodriguez distracted Ronda, which distracted the ref, which allowed Tegan Nox to enter illegally and kick Shayna in the head, and Liv Morgan got the pin. Kind of a cheating win, but they still managed to win. And I could see WWE building... What?
The babyfaces cheated to win.
Yeah. I mean...
Okay.
They have to do what they have to do to get a win over Ronda Rousey, right?
Yeah, I guess.
And
at least, Tegan got a vignette.
Yeah, they had a little thing kind of explaining to you who Tegan Nox was, a little promo segment thing. It was good. It worked. And, Tegan Nox has that history with Dakota Kai. I wouldn't be surprised to see Liv and Tegan built up to eventually face Damage Control for the belts. Could happen.
Well, it's ridiculous. Like, I'm sorry. Like, one match and you're automatically like the number one contenders. Like, that's...
Well, are they?
That's pretty bad.
I'm not saying that they are. I'm just saying at some point.
No, they are actually. They said
they?
next week the match is happening. Yeah, they are actually.
Oh, really? I was just saying that. I didn't even know.
No. They are. Match is happening.
Makes sense.
Why not?
Sure.
Again, the ridiculousness of...
Well, they beat Ronda Rousey and Shayna. I mean, they're pretty scary. And there's no division really to speak of, so there's that too.
I know, but it's like it's her first match, and suddenly like, oh, next week you get title shot. It's like it's really hard to get those tag title shots. Like you have to battle for that. 1 week.
Yeah. I mean, to get a Raw women's title match, you have to win a triple threat match and then win a match against the winner of another triple threat match. And if you win that match, then you get a title shot, right? That's how it works on Raw. That's what we saw this week on Raw, which I thought was a high point of Raw, by the way, the women's matches.
Yes and no. I mean, one, yes, maybe not so much the other one.
Yeah. I like Bayley, Asuka, and Rhea Ripley. I thought that was all right.
It was good. There was one bit of hiccup. Like, for whatever reason, I don't think the women should do the poetry in motion in both matches. That screwed up. But besides that, that match was fine. The other match was just like, ugh. Like, Becky's in there, but that's all you care about.
Alexa wound up winning, though. Alexa Bliss.
Well, because of the interference.
Yes, because of interference from Dakota Kai and Io Sky, who attacked Becky Lynch, put her through the announce table with a power bomb, and then Alexa hit the Twisted Bliss on Nikki Cross to get the pin and the win. So it'll be Alexa Bliss against Bayley on Raw, and the winner gets a title shot at Bianca Belair at some point. They didn't say at the Royal Rumble. They didn't say when on Raw. They just said gets a title shot. I don't know. We'll see. What do you think? Alexa, Bayley? Who wins? Are they going to give Bayley another shot? I feel like Alexa gets the win because they need to elevate Alexa a little bit. it's good to have as many stars as possible. And Alexa at one point was a bigger star and a more respectable in-ring champion. You know what I mean? Like at one point she was winning matches and she wasn't just kind of there. She was the focal point. She was the champion. And now she's just kind of on the sidelines, and I think it would be smart for WWE, if she's going to be on the show weekly, to elevate her and kind of restore her. She's been around for a while. She should be featured in title matches against Bianca Belair. She should be looked at in that way. Bayley is already there. I think elevating Alexa with a win over Bayley and then a title shot against Bianca that she doesn't win. I'm not saying have Alexa beat Bianca. I'm just saying maybe have Alexa beat Bayley and have a match on Raw with Alexa and Bianca. Might be good for Alexa, which is good for kind of the rest of the roster, you know?
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you on this one. Like, I think Alexa, to me, it felt like she was showing shades of being a heel. Like, it was little subtle things, like she slapped Becky during the match, and it's like, that's kind of odd. Like, you're both faces, and you just open hand slap, like little things like that. And the fact that, she clearly saw that the interference happened, and she did nothing about that. And she saw damage control on the outside, did nothing about that. So, if she's just winning however she wants to win, I mean, I can see her slowly turn heel, and she did the whole teasing Sister Abigail as well, hitting that move. So, there's a lot they could play with that, I think. And it's something fresh, too. I mean, they've overdone Bayley and Bianca. I mean, they could go back to it, but you got to give that at least a pay-per-view off, at least, because we've gone through it too much.
Even revisiting it in a Raw title match at this point, I think, is unnecessary because we've seen it quite a bit recently. I think even if it's not a Rumble match, even if it's just on Raw, I'd rather it be Alexa in a main event of Raw against Bianca than Bayley. Because with Bayley, I don't know. But if they did do that, I mean, Bayley might win. At some point, if they keep giving it to Bayley, you might think, well, Bayley will get it at some point. But I feel like Bayley's doing something with Becky Lynch, right? They had that promo together that I thought was pretty good. That was the highlight of Raw, as far as I'm concerned. The Bayley and Becky Lynch promo. I thought that was the best thing they did all show.
I thought it was all right. I liked the JBL's interaction with the poker segment. Ugh. I thought he was hilarious.
I don't know. It led to what? Tozawa versus Dominic Mysterio? Thanks a lot, JBL.
Well, I'm not saying what the matches resulted in, but like just the actual him interacting with people, saying, "Oh, you can't come in here," like there's a fee to come in here, and they took their money. And the whole thing with the Miz too, like he was trying to be nice to the Miz, but not really being nice to the Miz. Like that kind of plays true to how like he was kind of a jerk to the Miz, and still is a bit. So I kind of like little things like that. Like he stays true to himself, JBL. And again, on commentary, like maybe you don't like the 6-man that Corbin and Alpha Academy had, but at least JBL on commentary, like freaking out. That's good stuff.
Yeah, but it wasn't great, that match.
Well, I mean, to me the problem was they didn't highlight AJ Styles enough. But at least, the OC, they got their win. I mean, that was a big thing for them to finally get back on the right track kind of thing. Get away from Judgment Day, thankfully.
I thought the women's triple threats were the better matches on Raw for sure this week. Bayley and Becky had a good promo as well. I like Bayley's promo talking about how the spotlight's always on Becky and she doesn't care about the WWE. She's not elevating the rest of the talent, the locker room, the future of the company. Bayley is doing that, helping out, Dakota and Io Sky, and she's really what's good for WWE, and Becky only cares about herself and making herself a bigger star. And Becky just kind of smiles through that and doesn't really deny it, which I thought was interesting. And then Becky's like, yeah, Bayley, you do look out for the locker room, and Damage Control is doing well. But you haven't been doing well. Like, they're the champions, and you're not a champion, so ha ha ha. So Becky really didn't kind of deny Bayley's claims. She just said, yeah, well, whatever, you're not a champion. And Becky says, well, I hope you win your match, Bayley, so that I could face you again later on. And in fact, Bayley did win her match, but Becky was the one who did not. Because Bayley's goons, Dakota and Io, came out and stopped Becky. But I thought that promo was really good, and of course, 2 future Hall of Famers there in Bayley and Becky Lynch. 2 big reasons why women's wrestling is so big right now, because they are so talented and such gigantic stars in pro wrestling, right? Bayley and Becky. Bayley, Becky, Sasha, Charlotte, that's the 4 women, the 4 horsewomen of the wrestling.
Well, I'm sure we'll get into Sasha later, but the fact that Becky mentioned, it's been a while since her and Bayley have wrestled each other. Just kind of getting people interested in seeing that again. And that kind of goes to show you, too, they don't need a title. It doesn't need to be the main event. But, I mean, on a Raw, it's definitely in the main event. Because in terms of star power, they're probably 2 of the top stars on the whole show. So, to me, that's probably going to be a top match. I can see that going all the way to, Elimination Chamber. Because they're probably going to battle for that spot, whoever doesn't win the Rumble. Because I don't think either of them are probably going to win the Rumble, so I can see them both inside the chamber.
Mm-hmm. It's an interesting feud. I like it, Becky and Bayley. And, of course, John, your favorite, John Cena is coming back. John Cena, the champ, is returning. December 30th on SmackDown. It is official. WWE announced it today. John Cena coming back to the WWE. What's he going to do? Don't know. But December 30th, is it possible that he announces he is entering the Royal Rumble? I think it's possible. Why not?
Well, to me, you made mention to it before, if it comes down to Brock and The Rock, that's the best thing you could possibly do. But I mean, possibly Cena and Rock is okay too. But to me, that's a number 2. Brock
pretty good.
Brock and Rock is bigger than Cena and Rock.
How about all 3 of them?
I mean, if you look at it, you got to give Brock a lot of credit. He's still super over right now, regardless that he's barely around. When he comes around, it's a big deal. When I look back on this year, to me, the best match I saw in WWE was Brock and Roman at SummerSlam.
Yeah, it was pretty good with the tractor.
So, and let's face it, Cena, he didn't even wrestle this year. When was the last time he wrestled? The Fiend match? Or no, it was against Roman, right? At SummerSlam.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I'm just saying, I'm not really itching to see a John Cena match where I think you pretty much know how it's going to go, but it's going to be a much slower match. There's, Austin Theory, that would be the best thing for John Cena, just to put over Austin Theory.
It might be the best quality match. I don't know how you do that. I don't know if it's a big money match. There's been talk of Stone Cold Steve Austin versus John Cena at WrestleMania. Could they be setting that up? I'd like to see that. Austin Cena, 2 eras. I mean, it was the Austin era, and then it was the Cena era. 2 of the biggest stars in the history of professional wrestling. We never got to see Austin Hogan. We should have seen it. They should have done it. But egos got in the way. But Cena Austin could happen. I think they should do it. If they can do it, I think they should. Why not? That is a dream match. That is a big money match. Why not do Stone Cold versus John Cena at WrestleMania? There is talk that Stone Cold wants to wrestle again. He did it last year. He felt good. He liked it. He wants to go again. If Stone Cold wants to wrestle a match at WrestleMania, I don't think you say no to that. And if John Cena and Austin want to wrestle each other, I think that's fine. I think that's a main event for one of the nights for sure. I don't know if John Cena versus Austin Theory is a main event for WrestleMania. It's a match you could do, but I don't think it's a main event match that could close a show. Austin Theory's not closing the show with the U.S. title. Come on now.
That's fair, but like this helps progress Austin Theory for the future. Like Cena and Austin is good for the moment, but what does it do for the future? Both guys aren't going to be there the next night on Raw, you know? So, like, your dream match thing is nice, but I think there's just better opponents for Austin and a better use for Cena. Like, let's face it, Cena versus Austin, the wrestling match, that's not very appealing whatsoever.
What is your finish of John Cena versus Austin Theory?
Oh, I definitely have Theory winning.
Oh,
like, A-Town down. A-Town down, man.
No
100%.
way. Ridiculous.
100%.
Ridiculous.
100%.
No. Incorrect.
How does Austin Theory not win that match? He has
Unbelievable.
To
win that match. No. Because he's Austin Theory and he's wrestling John Cena. That's how.
Passing the torch. You know, that's what you should be doing.
No, not to that guy. Come on. Are you kidding? Are you kidding me?
I think Theory, again, can be the future. They got to position him like that and give him that win over Cena at WrestleMania. That's going to help him a lot.
Who the hell is this jabroni wrestling Orange Cassidy?
That's Trent 7.
What happened to Trent 6?
Well, I'm guessing you don't remember who Trent 7 is.
No.
But he was in WWE and WWE UK.
Oh, yeah. Was he the guy with Pete Dunne? No, not Pete Dunne. The other guy. The little guy? What's that guy's name?
He was with... No, you're thinking... I think another guy, actually. There's another little guy you're thinking of.
Yeah, you know he won the first NXT UK. That guy. He was in a tag team. Big strong boy. That guy. The hell was that guy's name? Is he still around? You know who I'm talking about?
Oh, they're all gone. By the way, WWE
What?
UK, it's all gone.
No.
Like it's no longer a thing. Like they merged the UK
Tyler
and the
Bate.
NXT titles. Oh, okay, yes.
Tyler Bate. Wasn't this guy? It was. Oh yeah, this guy was Tyler Bate's tag team partner.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm right. I do know this guy. Okay, I know who you're talking about.
But,
him and Tyler
UK's
Bates
no
were a
longer
tag team
around.
in NXT. They were pretty good. They were NXT tag team champions. Mustache Mountain, right?
Well, he did the whole mustache in the beginning.
There you go. That was their tag team name, John. Mustache Mountain. How could you forget the Mountain of Mustache? I think we all have.
Well, I remember Trent 7. I forgot the tag name though.
No, there you go. And you forgot Tyler Bate. Where is he now? Is he still in WWE?
I think he's still in WWE, but not like used much.
Apparently he's still in
I mean, that's the
WWE
problem.
NXT.
Well, that's the problem because they unified UK and NXT, but I mean, you know, NXT was already a big roster, so guys kind of don't get used that much now.
I think your booking of John Cena is very interesting because you will have him lose to Austin Theory at WrestleMania. I will have him beat Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania.
Oh my God. Why?
What do you mean, why? Passing of the torch, brother.
Yeah, but like that torch is fizzled out already. Like there's no point in passing that torch.
Reverse pass.
Like, it doesn't like make sense. He's already done he beat The Rock. He got his WrestleMania thing off that. Like
he's got to beat Austin too.
That was a long time ago. Doesn't need to beat Austin. Like
he does. He needs
ridiculous.
Legacy.
Like honestly, in terms of match, like to have a good match, I think Austin against Randy Orton, that'd be fantastic. I'd love to see that match. That's a dream match right there.
If Randy can come back.
I think Randy's going to come back one day. And I think that's the match to make for WrestleMania.
How about Austin versus Cody?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that could work with Austin, right? Like a
Ooh.
lot of the top stars.
Cena versus Cody. That would be good.
That's not.
And then you could have Cena lose to Cody. I could have Cena lose to Cody. I would respect that. That's fine. But not Austin Theory. I think Cena Cody would be pretty good.
Like Cena's come back as a face though, so it's like, I mean, just put him up against faces like that. Like it's not going to be that great of a reaction for Cody. Like honestly, like Cody against Seth again would be a bigger reaction because you want Cody to beat the crap out of Seth again. Do you really want him to beat the crap out of Cena? Not so much. It's just a nice win for Cody.
Do people want to see Seth get beat up? Because people seem to like Seth now. Seth seems to be a babyface.
Yeah, but he flip-flops. Like last week he was laughing about how like he beat up Cody and people were booing him, so
I don't understand the Seth Rollins gimmick. It's terrible. I hate it too. Like not only do I not get it, I also don't like it at all. I don't think anybody.
Did he
really
come out PJs this week?
I don't know. He looks ridiculous. And like he's gonna wrestle Bobby Lashley for a U.S. title shot on Raw Monday night. I could not care less. The winner gets a shot at Austin Theory's U.S. title. All of that stuff is awful. And then Austin Theory wrestled Mustafa Ali this week, and the match got interrupted by Dolph Ziggler, who like attacked both guys, which was also terrible. I don't care about any of those guys, and they fill up most of Raw. I'm tired of it. It makes me really not want to watch Raw. All that stuff. Theory, Bobby, Seth, Mustafa, Dolph Ziggler. There's nothing to it. It's very bland. There's nothing in that story. I don't know why they're mad at each other, and I don't care. I don't think they really have a reason.
With Dolph and Theory, you mean? Or
I don't know. Dolph is mad at Theory because Theory didn't take his advice or something?
Right.
Nice. It's not great. None of it is great. All right.
Well,
what?
This is a nice moment here for Dustin right here.
What is going on? Why is Dustin Rhodes here helping Orange Cassidy?
Well, because they're in Texas.
Oh. Okay.
And you saw the reaction
from Kip Sabian.
You saw the reaction you got in the Battle Royal. It was one of the biggest pops of the night. So I think they just realized like it's a good way to end the show. Have him come out, make the save. Made sense.
Yeah. Ricky Starks got a huge pop too. We'll talk about Ricky Starks in a second. So we'll see what happens with John Cena, right? December 30th on SmackDown. We'll see what he says. We'll see what he does. But I think no matter what, we both expect him to have a match at WrestleMania. If he's coming back in December, at the end of December, to do a promo, either a match at Mania or an appearance at the Rumble, right? At the very least.
To see him in the Rumble, I don't know about that so much, but yeah, a match at WrestleMania, I could see that for sure.
Or just a match at the Rumble. He doesn't have to, be in the Rumble. He could just have a big match at the Rumble, because he can have a big match at Mania because his movie schedule or whatever. This will be when he does his big match. I could see that.
Yeah, but because if The Rock's going to be there, I can see he's going to be there because there's going to be a lot of people from Hollywood there, right? So Cena would definitely want to tag in on that. That would help
WrestleMania. WrestleMania, you mean?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely. I think if Cena wrestles, he's going to wrestle WrestleMania, but maybe the Rumble. I think he might just tease stuff. That's it right now. I don't think we're going to get anything for sure.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. Always good to see big stars on SmackDown. Roman Reigns will be back on SmackDown next week. Jey Uso told Sami Zayn to cut his hair and trim his beard because it's going to be a big night in Chicago when the Tribal Chief is back. I don't know what that means. What are they going to do to Sami?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, is there gonna be some sort of presentation for him or something? Like, they're gonna present him with a new shirt, maybe. I saw that they have a my dog shirt that just came out. Apparently, or comes out tomorrow.
Okay,
So
maybe something there.
maybe it's gonna be something there, possibly.
Well, the Tribal Chief will be on SmackDown next week, which is good. We'll also see Gunther versus Ricochet for the Intercontinental title. And on Raw Monday night, you'll have Bayley and Alexa Bliss and Seth Rollins versus Bobby Lashley. Gotta say, SmackDown looks way more interesting than Raw does next week. Raw will be in Milwaukee, SmackDown in Chicago. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, Chicago, better town. I mean, wrestling, like, yeah, of course. And Raw, the dread of like 3 hours, like, yeah, it could be bad.
Yeah. Dynamite went by quite quickly this week. The Ricky Starks MJF promo, the Darby Allin Samoa Joe match, and of course that fantastic main event between an FTR and the Acclaimed for the tag team titles. Dynamite was by far the best wrestling show of the week. And hard to pick a match of the night, but I think it'll have to go to that main event. What a great match between the Acclaimed and the FTR. The Ass Boys cutting a promo after the match to set up Briscoes versus FTR in a double dog collar match for the Ring of Honor Final Battle, which should be fantastic, right? Briscoes FTR double dog collar tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon. As you mentioned, John, we should give a rundown of that Ring of Honor Final Battle card here for everybody. But how about that main event of Dynamite this week?
Well, I mean, based off what happened at the end there, I mean, that's the reason, again, why I bought the pay-per-view. I mainly just want to see that double dog collar match. That's going to be, I mean, if you saw the first two matches, or just one of the first two matches, like, you could only imagine how brutal this match is going to be. Like, it's not going to be the main event, but it might as well be, because to me, it's the main attraction of the pay-per-view. And I mean, to see them have such a great match on Wednesday as well, like, to me, like, it's hard to argue that they aren't the best tag team. I mean, to me, it's mind-boggling that they didn't win the tag team titles. Like, I don't know, you give them so many tag titles, but you can't give them the AEW tag team titles. That, to me, doesn't make any sense, but it still doesn't hide the fact that, like, they're the best tag team. Like, to me, they have some of the best matches in wrestling right now. There's just no question.
I think it's a timing thing with them not getting the belts now. I thought it was odd that they had the match with the Acclaimed now.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't stop the Acclaim's run at this point. They're so hot. I mean, everybody's going crazy. The Scissor Me Daddy song that the whole crowd is singing, oh, Scissor Me Daddy. They love it. They're doing it constantly.
Yeah, I know.
You know, I mean, the Daddy Ass and, the rap, the caster rap, Bowen's yelling, the Acclaimed have arrived, Scissor Me Daddy Ass, and the whole crowd doing it with him. I mean, it's a party when those guys come out. Just the entrance alone. And you know what? It's an entrance, it's a promo, it's a look, it's youth, it's experience with Daddy Ass, a legend there with them. It's a really solid act, and it's homegrown. It's AEW built. Tony Khan put these two together as a tag team. They were singles wrestlers. They didn't come in to AEW as a tag team. They were made by AEW. And the fact that they have succeeded and become such a hot commodity, I think, is a reason why AEW needs to keep going with them, because they don't have many of these. FTR was over before they ever came to AEW. And I think it's good for AEW to use tag teams like FTR to put their homegrown talent over. You talk about the future and the, home talent that's going to be there going forward. When FTR's contract is up, who says they're not going to go back to Triple H? So
yeah, they might.
I think the Acclaimed, especially because how on fire they are right now, them beating FTR was definitely the right move. Putting FTR into the match was a surprise, but the match was great, and the Acclaimed winning clean makes them a more impressive tag team, right? It puts them over, makes them stronger, especially as a tag team champions now. They just beat FTR in a main event of Dynamite, and they can't be seen as a weak tag team anymore. They just beat who most would consider the best tag team in AEW. They're tag team champions in all the other promotions except for AEW. So I think it was the right move putting the Acclaimed over. And you know what? The match was great. The Acclaimed, they're not a bad tag team. It's not just
they're not bad,
the gimmick and the act and all that stuff. In the ring, the matches they had with the Swerve and the Glory were fantastic. The matches they just had with FTR was fantastic. At a certain point, you're going to have to say, well, FTR is maybe the best tag team in the world, but the Acclaimed is maybe not too far behind. They are rolling right now.
No, they're good. There's no question about it, and I think AEW deserves a lot of credit. The fact that they gave us a clean finish. There was no stupid distraction finish garbage that we see in most television shows. So I'm glad that they actually gave us something like that. It felt like a true main event with an actual finish. This was honestly, yeah, like you said, the best thing that we saw this week. And that says a lot because I thought Joe and Darby Allin was also very good, but that shows you how good this match was. And like you said, the Acclaim's good. I don't know if they're as good as FTR is, but they can hang there with them. And that's a huge step because they probably could have done that a year or two ago. So it shows you just how much they've improved. And in the end, they could possibly become, if not as good as FTR, at least right up there with them.
FTR, they don't really have the promo, the catchphrases, the electricity that the Acclaimed have.
No question that. I thought they got a great reaction. And Top Guys Out, people like that.
They don't. Top Guys Out is not over like Scissor Me Daddy Ass. That catchphrase.
Fine,
come on.
Sure.
Come on. Come on.
But they're still over, though. You can't deny that they're over.
Oh, no. Of course. The crowd is split. Everybody loves FTR, for sure. But the Acclaims are just crazy over right now. The crowd just jumps out of their seat. They go crazy for these people. And they're entertaining
the Acclaim
every
might
week.
Be the most overacted. The Bloodline, they would rival the Bloodline. That's how over the Acclaimed is. That says a lot right there.
Yeah, in current professional wrestling. December 9th, 2022, the Bloodline and the Acclaimed are the two most over acts in pro wrestling, and it's close. It's close.
So,
what is more over? What is the more over phrase in pro wrestling? Usi or Scissor Me Daddy Ass?
Well, the thing is, the Bloodline have many.
Yeah, they're the twos, we the ones.
Yeah,
that's a good
exactly. Have the table, stuff like that. There's so much with the Bloodline,
Yeah, it's good.
The Acclaim is still very over, though. You can give them that.
Yeah. I like that Billy Gunn has just completely abandoned his name and just embraced the fact that his name is now Daddy Ass. He's introduced as Daddy Ass. He's Daddy Ass. He used to be
Mr. Ass.
Mr. Ass in WWE. He because he was Badass Billy Gunn, and then they changed it to just Mr. Ass. He was the Ass Man, and now he's Daddy Ass. Daddy Ass. What a wrestling name. I mean, when it goes down, all-time wrestling names, when we look back 30 years from now and you look on a wrestling sheet like, oh, Daddy Ass beat this guy, be like, Daddy Ass? That is one of the all-time greatest professional wrestling names. And, you know, it's Billy Gunn, but he's being introduced as Daddy Ass. As far as I'm concerned, that is his name at this point, which is pretty good. Pretty good.
I mean, I would think for Father's Day, like, they have to come out with the whole, like, Father's Day scissor me daddy ass thing. I mean, that's just perfect, I think.
What do you mean?
Like a special kind of Father's Day, like a special Father's Day scissor me daddy ass. That would sell like crazy. Like, I mean, they're already selling like crazy, but
like a t-shirt?
to really push it home, yeah, just a special thing for that.
Okay. I don't know. I think it's great. I love them. And, you know, I've been talking, you know this, John, for a long time. I was saying how great the Acclaimed are and how over they are, and why wasn't AEW doing more with them? They were just kind of nothing for a long time, and every week they came out and they were the most entertaining guys.
It was the rap got them over.
Yeah, well, the rap, but man, I was into it way before I feel like they got over, right? I was talking about these guys as a great tag team, and I'm really happy to see them on top now. I called these guys a mile away, John. Once again, I call it
you didn't,
miles away.
You didn't call Billy Gunn, to be honest. You didn't see Billy Gunn coming over.
I didn't see Billy Gunn being an addition to the team. It was very good. But I did say that those two guys, you know, the whole rap and then the Acclaimed have arrived, and they were getting booed for it. But every week I was like, man, these guys are actually pretty damn entertaining. I like these guys. And eventually they put it all together with Daddy Ass and everything. It's a great act. I'm really happy to see them having so much success. I call things a mile away. I was telling you about Magomed Ankalaev years ago, and he's about to win the UFC Light Heavyweight Championship tomorrow night. Watch it with me right here on the Ringside Report Network, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, the UFC 282 watch-along. Saturday night, 10 p.m., we're going to watch some UFC fights. Paddy the Baddy. Oh, Paddy the Baddy. MJF is going to the fights to see Paddy the Baddy.
You're right.
Uh-oh. What's Paddy the Baddy going to do? I've got Paddy the Baddy over Jared Gordon, by the way. Smashing. He's going to be the only Englishman victorious tomorrow, if you know what I mean. Woo!
Again, you know, I'm sure buddy Andy thinks differently, but we'll wait and see. It's going to be fun.
Sorry, Andy.
Like, I have to say, the World Cup's been a lot of fun. Today was a lot of fun. Like, the last couple of games are going to be very interesting. I mean, even if you don't like soccer,
Brazil was crazy today. Unbelievable.
It was nuts. I thought Argentina, Netherlands, that was fantastic.
Crazy. I thought the Netherlands were going to win that game.
Yeah.
Wow, big surprises today. Big surprises today. Hopefully no surprises tomorrow. And France goes through.
Well, they are the favorites.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you have that.
So is Paddy the Baddy.
I want to say France the favorite going through all the way right now. Like, I can't see anyone else would be a bigger favorite.
Yeah, at this point, right? They seem very strong.
Well,
they seem
Spain's
very
out,
good.
Brazil's out. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of the tough teams are out. Portugal's still in. They're looking pretty good, though.
Yeah. They have to face Morocco next, though. So, I mean, wait and see.
Okay, so MJF is going to the UFC because he's been having a Twitter battle with Paddy the Baddy. Paddy the Baddy is a big UFC star. He's fighting in the co-main event against Jared Gordon tomorrow night. MJF is going to be there, which I think is pretty cool. I wonder what he's going to do. I wonder if they show him on camera. Do they acknowledge him?
I think so.
They better. They better. That's the man. That's the AEW World Champion. I mean, people will be excited to see MJF. That's the guy. MJF, after Ricky Starks won the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal. So this match had Ricky Starks in it, of course, because he won. Jungle Boy was in it. Dustin Rhodes, The Butcher, Kip Sabian, Brian Cage, Orange Cassidy, Dalton Castle, Captain Sean Dean, Matt Hardy, Ethan Page, Lee Moriarty. Big Cass chokeslam Jungle Boy hard on the apron. It was devastating. It was pretty nasty. And
thought he was hurt.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely hurt. I don't know if he's injured, but it couldn't have not hurt, right? God, just the angle and the spot on his back, terrible.
You never know with those kind of bumps too. Like that could have been very bad, actually, like paralyzed possibly. So, thankfully, not that serious.
Big Cass, or what do they call him?
Big Bill.
Big Bill? Because his name is William Morrissey, and that's what they were calling him, and now they're just going to call him Big Bill. Cool. Big Billy.
Bullet Bill?
Bullet Bill. Bonsai Bill. Isn't that the bigger one?
Yeah, that is the bigger one, to be honest, yes.
Bonsai Bill, Bullet Bill. What's it? Yeah. Bonsai Bill. How about that? Okay. So Ethan Page has a thing with Matt Hardy. It was Page, Hardy at the end, and Starks. And Page was telling Hardy to attack Starks, and then he did, but Matt Hardy got eliminated. And then Ricky Starks eliminates Ethan Page. That match really was of no consequence. It was a battle royal. It happened. You knew Ricky Starks was going to win. As soon as everybody was in the ring, you're like, Ricky Starks is probably going to win this thing, because the winner gets a shot at MJF and the Dynamite Diamond ring, and Ricky Starks already has a title match next week against MJF, so why not combine the two? We called it last week on the show. And MJF came out after the match and was taking some boos from the pro Ricky Starks crowd. Ricky Starks lives in Austin, Texas, where they were. MJF first talks about Bryan Danielson, says he's not there because he's terrified of him after what he did to William Regal last week. And MJF says next week he's going to win the Diamond Ring for the fourth time and retain his championship. MJF compares Ricky Starks. MJF says, compared to him, he's the drizzling shits, and Ricky Starks is a Rudy Poo candy ass who's stolen everything from that guy. MJF calls Ricky Starks a dollar store Dwayne and says he is the Pebble. So saying that Ricky Starks is kind of a wannabe The Rock, calling him the Pebble, and he's going to skip him all the way back to Billy Corgan's NWA so he can wrestle on YouTube where he belongs. A solid promo from MJF, hitting on some points. Ricky Starks kind of looks like Rocky Maivia. Kind of like Rocky Maivia haircut, kind of like Rocky, original Rock style, early Rock with the clothing, right? He kind of looks like that. Like 1997 Rock with the shirts sometimes.
He looks like more like the actor in Young Rock, to be honest. But yeah, I guess.
But you know what I mean. He's got that kind of style. Similar haircut and similar clothing. Right?
Right. I mean, Rocky Maivia was bigger, though. I mean, The Rock was pretty big. Always been big.
Well, yeah, he's bigger than Ricky Starks, of course. I mean, The Rock is a very big dude. But you know what MJF was saying, right? Good promo from MJF. And then Ricky Starks fired back with a tremendous promo calling MJF Maxi Pad. The crowd was chanting Maxi Pad at him. MJF says that, Ricky says MJF is a fifth-rate Roddy Piper if he's a second-rate Rock. And Ricky mocks MJF's clothing and says he's cheap and everything is cheap. The suit, the shoes, and the heat. He says MJF, he has a nose that's a different color than the rest of his body because the point there is he's sticking it up people's butts. He's kissing butts. He's brown nosing.
Brown nose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's making fun of MJF's bad tanner job that he does on himself where he's kind of different colors all around, which was kind of funny. It was a very good promo from Ricky Starks. Yeah, and it was the best promo that I've ever seen from Ricky Starks. Like, by far. And it made me way more invested in Ricky Starks as a pro wrestler. This is exactly what he needed to do in this moment, and he delivered 110%. Like, he over-delivered. It was fantastic. He didn't just, do enough. He did above and beyond. He made me I like Ricky Starks. I've always liked Ricky Starks, but now I'm like, wow, Ricky Starks could be the champion. He's not going to beat MJF next week, but at some point, I could see him being AEW champion. He's got a lot going for him, and this promo showed that he could get to that next level where he's a real main event talent. Very impressive. Really impressive. Had not seen that next gear from Ricky Starks. Put it all together, had some emotion behind it. Had the crowd behind him, I think, which helped. And he had a partner in there with MJF that he was familiar with. It worked. It worked very well, and I look forward to the match next week. And that is what a promo is supposed to do as well. Not only enhance you, but enhance the match and get people to want to watch that match. And I was going to watch that match anyways, but I want to now, I'm like, oh yeah, Ricky Starks MJF, like I'm into that now. I'm more into it now because, wow, Ricky Starks has a lot of momentum going into it. You expect MJF to win. MJF hit a low blow on Ricky Starks and set him up for the punch with the ring, but Starks ducked the punch and hit a spear to end the little segment that they had. MJF, Ricky Starks, Winter is Coming in Garland, Texas. Dynamite coming up on Wednesday night. MJF defending the AEW World Championship for the first time, also defending that diamond ring. I think he retains both. But, man, great stuff from MJF and Ricky Starks. Big highlight of the week.
Well, I think what I'm surprised about Ricky Starks is that he hasn't really been given the opportunity to have that kind of promo. Like, to cut a promo against a guy of the level of MJF, that much promo time period. Like, usually if you hear him, it's a little backstage thing for like maybe 30 seconds at most. And, I think he does what he can with 30 seconds, but, let him out there with a live mic, just let him run with it. Like, you finally get to showcase what he can do. Like, I had seen him in NWA do promos like this where they just let him do whatever he wants, and he's one of the best ones they had. So this wasn't too surprising, but AEW never really gave him that opportunity. So it's nice to finally see him get that. And he's making the most of his opportunity right there, That's what he's doing. And, I fully expect the match to be very good. Like you said, I don't think he's going to win, but because of that reaction, it's going to be a lot closer than you expect it to be.
And I think because of the promo, more people are going to be demanding that Ricky Starks get more opportunities past this. I think that he opened a lot of people's eyes, and the fans of AEW are going to be far more behind Ricky Starks going forward. He's way more over now than he was before that promo. He did himself a lot of favors in that segment. Really good stuff. Really good.
Made the most of his minutes. That's what he did.
Darby Allin is a guy who always does that. Constantly. Darby Allin is must-watch. He's one of these guys that you always pay attention to when he's wrestling because you never know what's going to happen. You never know what he's going to do to himself, right? And he did a lot to himself in this match with Samoa Joe. Tremendous match. Just awesome stuff. Samoa Joe beats Darby Allin, chokes him out with his choke hold thing. Darby got up after the match and pushed Joe, telling him, he's like, I'm still here, come on. And then Joe headbutted Darby, knocked him out, then hit the muscle buster on Darby's skateboard wheels on the bottom of the skateboard, which looked horrible, devastating. And then Joe choked Darby out again afterwards, and the refs came to stop him, but they couldn't, and Wardlow came out, and Joe left. So Wardlow and Joe is still a thing. But man, what a match between Darby Allin and Samoa Joe. Darby Allin is one of my favorite guys in AEW. Every time he wrestles, it's great. He doesn't have a bad match. He makes everybody else look better, too. I don't think Samoa Joe has looked like more of a monster in AEW than he did in that match with Darby Allin. He looked like a beast. Darby elevates everybody. Everybody.
Well, this was the perfect matchup in a sense. Like, Darby's the perfect underdog. Just take a beating the whole match, fight back somehow, some way. And Joe's the good, just beat the living crap out of you kind of guy. So this worked very well. This just got the job done. And despite Darby taking pretty much an unholy beating throughout the whole match, like, you still believed in Darby just because he's come back before from stuff like this. So this was fun, and I just hope it didn't kill Darby too much, and we see him sooner than later after this.
I always want more Darby Allin.
Yeah, but I don't want to kill him too much. It's okay. He takes a couple weeks off after that.
I know, but man, I always want to see him more. I always want to see him in a prominent role. I was excited that he was getting a TNT title shot. I didn't think he was going to win. But, man, I want him to win. I want him to be TNT champion again. I want him to be one of the featured players in AEW because I feel like he's one of the top 5 stars in that company. Another guy who nobody really heard of before AEW, and now he is a big wrestling star, and he's fantastic. And like I said, anytime he goes out there, killer stuff. Huge fan of Darby's. He just gives so much of himself in every match. He puts it all on the line every time he goes out there. Very few guys in pro wrestling take that type of risk that consistently. Right? Who else in pro wrestling is taking the consistent crazy bumps as Darby Allin right now? Like, Jeff Hardy was a guy who did that at one point. He's not around anymore in wrestling these days. I'm sure he'll be back at some point, but I don't know anybody, on a main kind of big show level. I mean, there are deathmatch guys that are doing that stuff, once a month or whatever. But Darby, it's kind of a different level. I don't know who else is taking that type of risk consistently on TV, at least.
Well, you don't really see that much anymore. I mean, I think maybe guys in ECW used to do stuff like that, but
yep,
that's been watered down now, and like, they just don't want that kind of style for the most part because a lot of guys just can't handle it. Especially in WWE, it's way too much, to be honest. If that would happen, like, the grind of that schedule, like, to put up those kind of matches, like, their 4 to 6 day week cycle they have, like, it's way too much. They can't do that. Like, it can work in AEW with the once a week, and then you can take a couple weeks off. That can work, but it just can't work in WWE.
I never understood how Spike Dudley kept going. That guy he's probably paying the price now. I don't know how he feels physically now, but I hope he's all right. But my God, did that guy take a beating. And that's kind of where Darby's at. Because Spike Dudley was in that zone where every time he wrestled, you're like, oh my God, he's going to do something that is very unsafe to himself. He is going to allow himself to get thrown 100 feet, and he's just going to land on his back. And Darby does that kind of stuff in every match too, right? I really haven't seen anything like it since Spike Dudley with Darby Allin. He reminds me of Spike Dudley and Jeff Hardy, but a lot of Spike Dudley too with the bumps. Just the crazy bumps.
Right. Yeah, no, it's a good combination. Spike Dudley, Jeff Hardy. It makes a lot of sense. but I feel that Darby, he's much different than Spike. Spike was more of almost like, just beat the living crap out of me kind of thing. Darby, it's beat the crap out of me, then I'm gonna come back and like beat the crap out of you kind of thing. Spike was kind of a one-hit note kind of thing, like take a beating, does the one move, and it's over kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Darby, it's a process with it.
If you are a new wrestling fan or you're not familiar with Spike Dudley, do yourself a favor and Google Spike Dudley versus Mike Awesome and enjoy. Right? That was pretty good.
That's true. New fans like your son, they never saw Spike when he was wrestling. It's true.
No. Did you know Mike Awesome was related to Hulk Hogan? Did I tell you this?
I think it was vaguely mentioned one time. I think in wrestling, it was mentioned. I want maybe mentioned WCW because they wrestled each other.
He is not really related to Hogan.
It's marriage or something, isn't it?
Well, it's so Horace Hogan, okay, Horace Bolea. You remember Horace Hogan in WCW?
He's in the NWO, yeah.
Right. And he was Hogan's shoot nephew, like really his nephew. He was like Hogan's sister or brother's son, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay, and his cousin, his first cousin, Horace Hogan, was Mike Awesome. But I don't think it was like on Hogan's side of the family. Like say it was Hogan's brother. Horace was Hogan's brother's son. It was like Hogan's mom's brother's son was Mike Awesome, right? So he's kind of related to Hogan, but not really. He's his nephew's cousin. But there is a family thing. But apparently, when Mike Awesome came to WCW, Hogan had left and Vince Russo was in control, and Vince Russo didn't like Hulk Hogan, so Mike Awesome didn't really get pushed. Could have got a big push ski if Hogan and Bischoff were still in charge. That's the story I heard.
Wrestling history. It was kind of like that ish. Like, they still kind of pushed Mike Awesome. He was that 70s guy, if you remember correctly.
Yeah. He could have been in the NWO, though. He could have been over. Could have been Scott Norton.
Because they broke. By the time he got in there, they had the New Blood against the Millionaires Club at that point.
But Hogan was gone, right?
He wrestled Hogan. He wrestled a handicap match. It was Mike Awesome and Kidman against Hogan.
Really? Oh, got to see that. I got to go back and watch that. I like Mike Awesome. He was great. Rest in peace.
I feel like he powerbombed Hogan through a table, if I'm not mistaken.
Whoa. Got to see that.
Yeah.
Did Hogan jump for the powerbomb?
I think Awesome, I think he got him up pretty good easily.
Yeah.
Awesome is pretty strong.
That's true. Okay. What else happened on this show? William Regal. Okay, we got to see the William Regal thing. What the hell was that? Tony Schiavone shows an interview with William Regal, and Regal's like, okay, well, people will only see this interview if something bad has happened to me. So
it's like a will or something.
Yeah, watch this video in the case of my death, because I fear MJF may attack me. What the hell was this? So Regal says that MJF was complaining about emails that he had sent him in the past, so he gave him what he wanted, and he gave him the championship. And Regal says everyone is going to be chasing MJF now because he's the champion, and that's good because he wants MJF to be the hunted guy. And he says the Blackpool Combat Club doesn't need him anymore, but they would never let him go, so he had to turn on them to teach them to always stay one step ahead of your opponents and keep the eyes in the back of your head. And Moxley and Claudio seem confused, and I'm confused too. So this is Regal beyond the grave. I'm going to my home planet now. Forget I ever existed. It's just really bad trying to tie the whole thing together, explanation of why Regal turned on Moxley in the Blackpool Combat Club. Regal saying, well, I didn't really turn on you. This was just teaching you a lesson, and I knew MJF was going to attack me. That's why I recorded this video to explain my whereabouts. But I am very, very injured now, and you will never see me again because I signed a contract with WWE. I left AEW. But this is to explain everything, guys, so I hope you're happy. Fucking ridiculous. Fucking ridiculous. Some of the all-time worst shit I've ever seen in my life. The explanation of this was horrible. Regal tried to make it work. It was garbage. Well, I really love the Blackpool Combat Club. This was all to teach you a lesson, guys. Have you learned your lesson? Yeah, you're a dick. You made me lose my world championship. Fuck you, Regal. You know, like, what's Moxley supposed to learn? He lost his belt.
Well, let's just clarify a couple of things. Like, he's still under his contract until the end of December.
Oh, I thought he went to WWE officially. I thought he already signed. That's what you told me.
What Tony Khan said at his ROH like media scrum phone conference thing, wherever he had.
Yeah.
That the contract's until the end of December. Then he had an out clause, and he let him go to WWE under the condition because he's going to train his son, but he can't appear on television for a whole year. Okay. So it's just going back to coach his son, and that's it.
Okay. I guess that's fair. But he still loses him when he was intricately involved in the top storyline in the company.
Well, that's why he got several goodbyes, and you know what? It's not impossible. We might get even more goodbyes because there's still time left for that too.
Yeah, he could record some more promos. I mean, he could have recorded a dozen promos and they could air them over the next 12 weeks.
Why not? Yeah, I mean, they could easily do that. I don't know if they really need to at this point.
I think it's best to be left alone at this point. Let's forget it ever happened because the explanation was terrible. Well, I don't want the Blackpool Combat Club to come out next week and be like, well, you know, what Regal said, it didn't really sit well with us, and I think we need to talk to him some more. And then Regal cuts a promo. I thought those guys may not be satisfied with my first explanation, so I did this interview with Tony Schiavone. Now you see, Tony.
Just in case.
Just in case. Ugh. Really bad.
Well, yeah, but when Schiavone asked him, like, what do you guys think? And Moxley didn't even really acknowledge it. Like, he just went right into the whole, like, this is what's going to happen with the JAS. Like, he just talked about that. So, like, the fact that he didn't even want to talk about it, to me, like, indicated that he didn't like it whatsoever.
Well, yeah. He's not totally inept. He understands how bad it is. He's like, yeah. Schiavone's like, what do you think, Moxley? He's like, Jericho and Final Battle and Claudio's going to beat you and all this stuff. It's like, what? Open challenge, Rampage. Anybody want to wrestle me? How about that? Let's have a match on Friday. Let's forget about Regal. Yeah. Jade Cargill and the Baddies beat Madison Rayne, Kiera Hogan, and Sky Blue. Jade hit her finisher on Madison. Jade Cargill getting it done again. Another win for Jade and the Baddies. What else happened on Dynamite? Claudio and Wheeler beat Jake Hager and Daniel Garcia. Claudio hit an uppercut on Hager for the win. Claudio and Hager completely botched a Frankensteiner in the match. It was a mess. That was my highlight of that match. That Frankensteiner, though, what happened? How come Hager didn't go over with him? What was going on there? What happened?
Well, because like it looked like Claudio wanted to do a Hurricane Rana, like standing on the top rope, but then he changed it. Like, I don't know if you noticed that. Like, he was standing on one side of the top rope, and then he switched it. I think when he switched, like, it threw off Hager or just threw off the timing of whatever they were doing, and yeah, it came out kind of rough. Yeah. Luckily, no one was hurt, but I didn't really like that whole, like, you notice, like, Claudio jumped on the second rope, and Sammy, like, caught his hands and just held him right in front of the referee. Like, what the hell was that?
Mm-hmm. It's AEW.
Yeah,
These things
well, I
happen.
mean, it's pretty bad. It shouldn't be that bad.
Well, you think that's bad as far as rule breaking and tag team matches coming up on Dynamite this week. It's the Elite versus Death Triangle, match 4. You know, everybody's going to be in the ring all at the same time in this one.
Yeah, but it's expected. Trios match. It's more like Lucha Libre style. Like, I mean, we almost expected in trio matches. But honestly, like, if they were taking a break, it should have been 3-0. Because then you think going into the big, like, Winter is coming, like, this could be it. You know, it's a big show. Maybe it's going to be a clean sweep. But to make it 2-1, it actually takes away that drama a bit.
What do you think? They make it 2-2 or 3-1?
I'm thinking 2-2.
Yeah, me
But
too.
I don't know if it really even matters because we know it's going 7 anyways. So, I mean,
Yep. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter have a tag team match set up against Saraya and a mystery partner set for the January 11th episode of Dynamite in Los Angeles. So that's when Saraya will wrestle her first match on Dynamite. I don't know why they're promoting a match that far out.
well,
Saraya has a mystery partner. I don't know who that may be. I'm guessing Tony Storm. I don't know who else it could be.
that's the safe guess, right? Because you see Tony Storm on television, all that, and you've seen her in AEW before.
Yeah.
However, with the news coming out now that like Sasha Banks is apparently going to be at Wrestle Kingdom, right? Appearing at Wrestle Kingdom.
Is that
'Cause now
official
there's
or
news.
just a rumor?
That's just a rumor, of course.
Okay.
But apparently she might appear, and now there's a rumor too that apparently her contract WWE is over at the end of December. So now there's even more rumors about, oh, maybe she's going to be the partner now.
So it could be Sasha Banks, you're thinking? That would be something.
The speculation will be through the roof if she shows up at Wrestle Kingdom. Like, everyone's going to think that 100% after that, I think, if she shows up at Wrestle Kingdom. You know, it's a domino effect, you know, like one thing's got to happen, then the next will happen, you know?
Okay, well, have you seen this, Johnny North?
If you're going to show me Jade with Naomi, you're showing me Jade with Naomi, I think, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
Jade Cargill and Naomi. Is it at a basketball game together? What's going on here? Is it possible that we see Naomi in AEW?
Yeah, it's not impossible. I mean, it's very like, when was the last time they were in WWE, you know? I mean, their contracts can't last forever. So yeah, it's possible. I would think less likely of her because, you know, her husband still wrestles in WWE, but, you know.
So what's he
people gotta
doing at a
work, I guess.
basketball game with Jade Cargill? What's going on there?
Yeah. Making friends, possibly, you know.
Huh. Interesting. I mean, that's set up. They're sitting courtside at a basketball game together. What's that about? It's not a coincidence.
Something's going on.
Something's clearly going on. Yeah. And it was in Atlanta too? Home of TNT and TBS? I mean, something's going on. I think Naomi's going to AEW. I haven't seen much from Sasha Banks, but seeing Naomi hanging out courtside at a basketball game in Atlanta with Jade Cargill makes me suspicious. Also gets me excited for what a tremendous tag team that might be. Oh, my God. Naomi and Jade Cargill, they'd be unbeatable. I mean, Jade's unbeatable by herself, and Naomi would just be jumping on the train. She'd be one of the baddies. She could be a baddie. Not bad to be a baddie?
If I was picking the tag team partner, though, like, you know, it's going to be in LA, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I'm not mistaken, WoW films in LA. So, you know, get AJ Lee to come for that match. I think that'd be pretty good. I get people talking.
Is she wrestling?
I don't know if she's wrestling, but I mean, I think she'd come back and team with Saraya.
That'd be a pretty great tag team right there. AJ Lee and Paige. AJ and Paige back together. That'd be huge.
That probably won't happen though. That's definitely like wishful thinking on that one.
Yeah, you really think they're gonna get CM Punk's wife to come and wrestle for them?
Well, see, it adds so much to it. That's why it gets more people talking. I mean, I think Sasha, it get people talking, but I don't know if Sasha would stay long term in AEW. I think it would just be like an appearance.
Well, you've got big ideas for Soraya's mystery partner, Sasha Banks or AJ Lee or Naomi, and I just thought it was going to be Toni Storm.
It might just be.
It seems to make the most sense. Toni Storm. Where's Toni Storm been? Since she lost the belt?
Vacation? I think on Dark. Yeah. I think on Dark, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. That's not great. She kind of should be in this tag team match. Yeah. So Dynamite coming up this week. We're going to have the Elite versus Death Triangle, and then MJF against Ricky Starks for the AEW World title. AEW's Winter is coming. Should be a good episode of Dynamite again. Raw and SmackDown, we'll see. Tomorrow night, it's the Ring of Honor final battle. I'll tell you what's on the card. Chris Jericho versus Claudio Castagnoli. Jericho defending his Ring of Honor World Championship. If Claudio loses, he will have to join the Jericho Appreciation Society. So I think Claudio's going to join the Jericho Appreciation Society.
Yeah, I think so. To me, it's the Blackpool Combat Club. I think it's done.
Yeah, I think so too. Daniel Garcia defending his Ring of Honor Pure Rules Wrestling Championship. No, this is a Pure Rules Wrestling match defending the Ring of Honor Pure Championship. Okay, Daniel Garcia defending against Wheeler Yuta. I don't know. Garcia, maybe. Garcia wins. Who cares?
I'd go with Garcia because there's a bunch of title matches. I don't think every title is going to really change hands. I don't see the JS losing on this one.
Well, there are a few title matches. I don't know which one you see changing hands. Mercedes Martinez defending the Ring of Honor Women's title against Athena. Maybe Athena?
Yeah, I think that might change. I think Athena might win the title.
Yep, I could see that. I don't think Samoa Joe is going to drop the Ring of Honor World Television Championship to Juice Robinson. I think Joe beats Juice.
Nope.
Joe over Juice. That could be a good match, though. I'd watch that. Swerve in the Glory. Swerve and Keith Lee taking on Shane Taylor and J.D. Griffey. Is that Ken Griffey's son? If not, I don't care. How about that?
I'd go with Swerve in our Glory since they're the known tag team in terms of what we've seen on television.
Who's a bigger Seattle icon? Ken Griffey Jr., Bryan Danielson, or Dr. Fraser Crane?
I mean, it depends the era. If you're talking about the 90s.
All right.
Dr. Fraser tough Crane. Between Griffey and Fraser. Griffey and Fraser, it's tough because Griffey, how many seasons was it with the Mariners? It feels like it wasn't that. It was only 2 or 3 seasons. He had good seasons with the Mariners. And then
who else do you associate from Seattle?
Who else is from Seattle?
Kurt Cobain. All that grunge.
Was he from
music.
Seattle?
He was from the same place. He was from the same place that Bryan Danielson is from, actually, Aberdeen, Washington, which is like a suburb, I think, of Seattle. Aberdeen. Bryan Danielson and Cobain from the same town. How about that?
That's pretty cool.
Who's more important to pop culture? Obviously, Bryan Danielson. FTR. Wow. I know, I'm joking. I'm kidding around. But, both guys I like a lot. Both talented artists.
You could say recent pop culture, possibly.
Yeah, I know. I'm kidding around. I'm a big Nirvana fan. I think Kurt Cobain was the best. Dalton Castle and the boys take on the Embassy, Brian Cage, and the Gates of Agony for the Ring of Honor 6-man Tag Team Championship.
I'm going with title change here, too.
Okay. Title change here. You got Swerve or the Shane Taylor Promotions?
Swerve.
Okay. How about FTR against the Briscoes? This is the one that everybody's paying to see. This is the one that Johnny North is paying to see. It's the double dog collar match for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles. FTR defending. Do they drop the belts here?
See, like you would think they would. However, like there's this huge thing about using the Briscoes on television. So if you can't use the Briscoes on television, it's kind of ridiculous if they win the tag titles. So, FTR should win the match because of that.
They can't use them on television?
They can't appear on like TBS or like TNT.
Oh, right. Because they've said racist things, homophobic things. What have they said?
There was some sort of tweet. There was some sort of tweet in like 2012 or something that I want to say Jay put out there about like didn't want, I guess, like his kids around like homosexuals or something. Something like that.
Uh-huh. And this is in 2012? Has he apologized?
He apologized, but still, like, that didn't fly back then. And especially now, it's even worse. So
yeah. Well, that can get you banned from TV 10 years later. A tweet about, I mean, it's not a good tweet, but man, it's interesting. Interesting how things work. I'm not condoning it. I'm just saying, wow, 10 years, tweeted about it, apologized. Hopefully he doesn't still think that. Maybe he does. But banned from TV for a tweet like that is like from wrestling TV too. Because a lot of wrestlers have a lot of interesting points of view, A lot of wrestlers tweet a lot of weird shit. So I'm kind of surprised at the Briscoes. That was one tweet that I wonder what the wording was. Probably not good. Briscoes.
No.
Yeah, people need to be cool. That's what I think. Just be cool. Mind your own goddamn business. What's the problem? Willow Nightingale is going to wrestle Trish Adora in a pre-show match. That's fun. And Matt Taven and Mike Bennett will wrestle Top Flight, Darius Martin and Dante Martin in another pre-show match. AEW versus Ring of Honor. It's the Ring of Honor final battle.
PM.
What's 3 p.m. for the pre-show?
I would go. If the pay-per-view starts at 4, 3 p.m.
Ring of Honor final battle tomorrow afternoon. How about it?
Like, if anything, AEW pay-per-view should start this early, in my opinion. That way, like, it doesn't feel like it drags all night.
It'll just drag all day.
That's fine. I'll take that over staying up all night.
Yeah. So that's tomorrow afternoon. I know Johnny will be watching. I'll be watching the France-England game, and maybe I'll watch some of the Ring of Honor pay-per-view when the soccer game's over. And then I'll be watching UFC 282 tomorrow night. We'll be doing the watch-along here, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on the Ringside Report Network. Johnny, I know you just had a big match. You won last weekend. Another big victory for Big Johnny. Tell us about it. How was it?
Thought it was excellent. Winning is always fantastic. But, a hard-hitting match is always fun to have. And I thought the fans really got spoiled with that one. Because we were two heavyweights. The other guy, Nick Mahagas, is a bit bigger than me. I think he was like 280. So, he threw some good hands on that one. And surprisingly on my behalf, he gave me a big shoulder tackle. I eat the corner, and then when I eat the corner, I don't know if you saw my Instagram or Twitter photo I posted, I just go in the corner and I guess you already have it set and ready, I guess. This is always nice. Yeah.
I'm good. That's you. Look at your muscular back.
I have great traps.
Up, though. Yeah, huge traps. Yeah, look at those traps. Ridiculous, man. What's going on? Yeah. Let's go.
It's shoulders day. It's a lot of shoulders. But as you see right there, I didn't even get thrown. I didn't get pushed or anything. I just fell back into the corner to the turnbuckle.
Oh.
And that freaking gut me like a fish almost. It was so bad. I guess one of the hooks or something from one of the corners was sticking out.
Oh.
And it just tore me up.
Oh.
And thankfully it was just that, because imagine if I got whipped into it or like pushed into it or something, like that could have been really bad. And thankfully that was like as bad as it got. I mean, it bled, and I think it bled a little bit afterwards again, but that's actually not that bad considering how bad it could have been. So just goes to show you anything can happen. You have to be prepared. And we almost had to stop the match. Actually, the ref had told me like, you're bleeding, and we had a thing that told like, if there's blood, the match has to be stopped. However, it's not like Crimson Mask,
Yeah.
bad blood. It's just a little bad. So I told the ref, like, if it's bleeding too much, where it's like pouring out, we'll end the match, but it wasn't. So, he kept an eye on it, and thankfully he kept it going. So I was able to go on to win, thankfully. So, but that was a little tense moment right there for a little bit, but thankfully nothing too bad. I don't know if the fans really noticed that though. I mean, you can see because I posted it out there, but I don't know if the fans really noticed that I was bleeding.
Wow. Some things you never know, but that, sometimes the most dangerous things in a wrestling match, the things that are really happening to the wrestler, the fans have no idea what's really going on. Right? It does happen.
Yeah. It happens. I mean, what's
how
even
you healing
more
up?
fun?
How did it heal? How's it now?
Well, the first 2 days, it just felt like it was always like, you take a shower and it just feels like a little bit of burning, like, yeah, you get that feeling. But the last day or two, taking a shower, it's not that bad. I mean, it's a lot of cold, hot showers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's healing. And, the first day or two of it, it's like, it stings like hell, but it's healing pretty good. But like, I probably, it's good that I don't have a match anytime soon, because another thing you worry about is like if you have like staph infection, that's an easy way to get staph infection, is something through that.
Yeah.
I don't believe I have staph, but you never know. So it's good that, I'm just away from the ring just in case something like that could happen. So that'd be bad for not just me, but everyone else as well.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you came out of it, John, and you're healing all right, and it wasn't too bad. But yeah, man, they gotta keep that buckle on that corner, man. What's going on? It's not good.
Well, the buckle was there. It's just the hook was sticking out. That was the problem. So
that's not good either.
They just, no, but thankfully, I was second match on the card. So that was found early in the show. So no one else had to take that. So, I mean, it sucks that I had to take that, but
yeah,
again, that could have been much worse than what had happened. And despite me bleeding the back, I still ended up taking like a superplex off the top. So like it didn't stop me from still having the match.
Wow.
Like I still had that match, and I still just went all out regardless. And my thought was like, well, as long as it's not bleeding like crazy, I can still go. Once the referee tells me I got to stop, I got to stop. But thankfully that didn't happen.
You're a monster. Fantastic. I love it.
The best part.
Sorry. I love that mentality.
Thank you. But the best part, again, like I find December shows, like attendance wise, not the best because it's holiday season time and not a lot of people like going to wrestling shows. But again, another packed house they had. Like it's fantastic to see Torture Chamber. Like again, over 300 fans again, second straight show in a row. That's fantastic for them. Again, like they haven't had shows in 2 years, and to triple their attendance, 2 shows in a row, it's fantastic. Again, December usually like one of the worst months I've ever seen for wrestling shows. So to have that again, it shows you that they're growing something there in Laval.
When's the next one?
I believe January 22nd.
Nice. And are you getting a title shot? Or your buddy Bjorn just won it, right? So maybe not.
I think if anything, I'm more like the gatekeeper now. So if Drew Onyx wants another title shot, he's going to have to go through me first, I think.
Ooh. Oh, boy. Okay. So I look forward to your next one there for Torture Chamber. Is that your expected next match, or do we have anything for this year, or are we done for 2022?
I think that's probably going to be it for this year. So, yeah. That'll be January 22, 2023. And I'm not 100% sure it's going to be Onyx, but I'm saying there's a good chance it might be Onyx again. So, from one war to the next.
Well, I look forward to it. I hope to make it to that one. I wasn't able to go to the show this past Sunday, but I will definitely make sure to circle it on the calendar and get out there for the next one for Johnny North, because Johnny North matches are the best. Johnny North is my favorite wrestler. You're my favorite wrestler, so I like to go see you.
I appreciate that. I always try to make the matches, like you can't miss this kind of thing. And if you miss it, like, you're going to miss something important. So that's, I wasn't expecting stuff like that, but, I guess when you have the mentality that I have, things like that are going to happen, unfortunately.
You put it all on the line. You give 100% of yourself in every match. And that's what I like.
That's it,
That's what I like to see. All right. I will be back. I give 100% of myself here to the Ringside Report Network, and I'll be back tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, for the UFC 282 watch along with Freddie and possibly AJ right here. I think AJ will...
possibly.
Well, I don't know. AJ has a thing, and he might show up late. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully we get AJ.
Wow.
But Fred will be
AJ on a watch along.
I think AJ will make it, but you should guilt him into showing up, because I think he has to be at a thing, but it may drag, and I told him, well, don't make it drag. Just leave, So I think he's going to leave.
Oh, has he ever missed the watch along?
I don't know if he has. I don't think so. Maybe because he had technical difficulties, but I don't think because of a different engagement.
I think he disappeared for a little bit.
I'd be surprised to see AJ miss the watch along. I think he's going to show up tomorrow. I really do. I'd be surprised to see him miss it. All right, I'll be here, that's for sure. Thank you, Ray Cruz, member of the team. Join.ringsidereport.net is what you need to do if you haven't already. Join.ringsidereport.net. Jason Pete, a member of the team. What's up, Jason? What's up, Ray? Thank you for joining us here tonight, guys. Thank you to all the members. Silent by Deadly. Doug Hepburn. See all the members checking in here tonight. Thank you, guys. Join.ringsidereport.net if you have not joined already. Support the Ringside Report Network. You can also go to donate.ringsidereport.net and subscribe. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. Comments help with the algorithm, help us get seen by more people, do more shows, do more things for you here on the Ringside Report Network. Johnny and I will be back next Friday night, every Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time for Wrestling Uncensored. And again, tomorrow night, 10 p.m. for the UFC 282 watch along right here on the Ringside Report Network.
Please join in and give your support to Ringside Report Network. We've been providing expert coverage and commentary on both pro wrestling and MMA for over 15 years. Go to ringsidereport.net/support to find out more ways to support the channel.